Hey crafty cuties, welcome back to Paper Terrace. If you're new, I am Jessica. Today I am working on finishing my April journal and I am wanting to decorate some of the pages inside these blank signatures. So I thought it would be fun. In the last video that I filmed on this journal, I showed you just 5 easy basic ways to decorate a journal or journal pages, and today I thought it'd be fun to show you 5 different hidden journaling spots. These are all going to be really easy, so just grab some paper and let's get going. The first one is probably the easiest, and we are going to just create a little hidden journaling spot using a tag. So I already have this blue inventory tag, but if you don't have something like this or one of the layaway type tags like this or a repair tag, you can also use just a tag that you make out of paper, scrapbook paper, or you could even do the same thing with like a guest check, or it doesn't have to be a tag. But we are going to basically use my scrap paper here, and I want to cut out 2 times the size of this tag. And so since I'm using scrap paper, I'm actually just going to fold this in half. So what you want to do is you can either have your paper be folded in half, or it can be folded this way, if that makes sense. So you're going to fold it in half, and then you're going to take your tag or whatever it is you are using as your base, and I'm just going to cut out the same exact shape as the tag times 2, but we're going to keep that fold in there at the bottom or one of the sides. Like I said, it doesn't really matter, but mine's going to fold down, and then I'm going to trim off the little sides for the tag shape as well. I'm also going to bring it in just a little bit closer so you can see. There we go. Okay, there we are. So I'm actually going to turn this inside out so that the pretty sides are on the inside. Then the next step, I'm just gonna go ahead and glue this tag right down on top of my paper. I must have used this tag to start out a letter for someone. So I was just thinking, so you can either glue the entire tag down to your scrapbook paper, or if you want to have an additional little hidden journaling spot, you can go ahead and I'm just gonna actually keep one of my sides unglued. So I'm just gonna glue around like 3 of the sides, as you can see here. And then we'll line that up just as perfect as you can get it. So I think you can already see where we're going from here, but we're gonna, instead of just keeping it a blank tag, we'll add a few little decorations to make it look a little bit more believable. Then I'm gonna grab up my hole punch, and I am going to punch a hole here. This is kind of why I like using an actual tag, because we can use some trim to even kind of close it shut as well. But let's add a little decoration just so it looks kind of like a finished tag, maybe something that you would put on a decorated page. I'm just going to use some paper that I found right here. Oops. Just do a little like decoupage kind of thing. Let's see. I'm going to grab one more piece of paper and just glue that down here, like so. And then I have this little ticket snippet, or it's like a wallpaper snippet that I made a while ago, and I'm just going to glue that down just for like to give you an idea of a quick little decoration. There we go. So then we can use some trim, and I like this because it's just, it uses such basic supplies, you know? Okay, then we can go ahead and let's see, you can either put your trim through, I would probably put it through both here. And then when you put it in your journal, just don't tie that like super permanent because you want to be able to take it off. But then what you can do is take your journal and, you know, you can basically place it on a page that you want. And I would personally use this as to make it just look like a little, like it could be like a pocket or something like that. But then what the recipient might not know right away is that you can undo that. And if you have it, let's just say if we have it glued down here, then you can open it up like this and you'll have a secret little spot for some journaling. Obviously I used like pretty scrapbook paper here, so you can't exactly write over this, but I could have added coffee dyed paper if I wanted, but you could also put like a picture in here, maybe something that you didn't want everyone to see. And then you have the back as well. So even if you aren't going to glue this down in a journal, I think this one would be really fun to just clip in. And I personally would add my trim through both of the holes so that it really just appears like it's just a single tag, like so. And again, this is just easy enough that anyone can do it. And you can see what it looks like if we just clipped it on. And then don't forget that you have that little hidden pocket on the side as well. And if you wanted to use something, you know, a little bit smaller than what I have here, you could put it all the way in, or you could have it peeking out and make it look like you just have one side pocket here as well. So the ideas could be endless with something like this. So let's head on to number 2. Number 2 is going to be a little secret pull-out. And so you're going to want to start with a piece of paper that's just about the same size as one of your journal pages. It could be a little bit less, but definitely not bigger. And basically for this one, we are going to create a little slit in the paper, and we're gonna have a little pull-out card. And we're gonna decorate the top so that you can't really tell, hopefully, that it is a little pull-out. So what you wanna do is have a second piece of paper, and this, so let me give you the measurements. You want it to be shorter and skinnier than your page. Sorry, I lost my words there. So this is about 6 inches by 8 1/4, and my second page is 3 3/4 inch by almost 7 inches. So what we want to do is figure out where our slit is going to be. So I am just kind of eyeballing that I want to keep more space at the top so that we'll have room to pull it up, but we don't want to go all the way down to the bottom. And so right about there, but I'm going to go on the back here and kind of hold that there so that I can draw a little line and I'll know where to cut. Now I did find this kind of X-Acto knife type thing, and I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to be able to figure it out without cutting into my board here, but you could use a little pair of scissors or X-Acto knife, just depends what you have. Let's see if I can figure this out. So again, this is gonna be the same width as the second paper. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to bring you guys in a bit more again. And I'm gonna try my hardest to cut. I think this is for fabric, but you know what, we're just still gonna. You guys are probably laughing right now because this is probably fabric. Rotary trimmer, that's what it's called, right? I just can't find my X-Acto knife, so we'll go ahead and put that blade away. That could be bad. Let's see. Well, we sort of got it started. So, you know what? I might not be the only one that doesn't know where their X-Acto knife is. So we're just gonna use our little pair of scissors and do the best job we can at cutting just a slit. Okay. And it's gonna be fine if it's not perfect because this is going to be covered up. Okay, so then what we're going to do now, move all that the side. Now we are going to decorate the top of our page here. Now, you do want the top, you want your decorations to be wider than your second page. So I'm just gonna actually start by adding some glue, adding some different papers, just have fun with it. I'm gonna add some fabric. And again, I'm just doing kind of a quick little decorating, but you could use a sewing machine and get some really pretty looks, or you could keep it more simple. I have this skeleton leaf I was thinking about using. We'll just go like that. And then I have this little butterfly I was thinking of adding right here. I mean, it's coming together, you know, pretty quick here, so I'm gonna use my staple for that. And just staple that in like so. And I could finish it off with a little label, but I sort of like how it just looks, so let's just keep it like that. Maybe just finish it off with a little washi. Again, I'm not trying to spend too much time on the decorating portion of this. Oh, actually, you know, I'm gonna move that up just a little bit actually so that it's more on the paper. A little paper topper, I guess we'll call it. And then let's just try this out and put it through the slit here. I might need to extend that just a little bit because you don't want it to be too much bigger, but it might need to be just a touch bigger than what your paper width was. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, and then you can just slide it all the way down. Now, if you made something similar to mine, I didn't glue all the way on the bottom of this little flap topper. And so if I wanted, I can actually even slide that over the slit just a bit to hide it even more, if that makes sense. Just a little bit. And then, since this page is the same size as my journal pages, this little topper will kind of peek up as a tab on above my journal, if that makes sense, like that. So if I wanted, if I don't like that look, or if you don't like that look, you can also make your second page, you know, be a little bit shorter. Again, you just didn't want it to be bigger, so I will trim that down just a little bit by eyes. But you do want to make sure that you have a little bit of a frame around the size of that second paper, because if you wanted to glue it in your journal, what I'm going to do now is add glue, and it's just gonna add a light stream of glue around the edges here, like this. And for this project, you can actually add glue to the top as well, because again, this is just going to fit nicely onto a page. So I'll actually show you here. You just want to make sure not to get glue on the middle part at all, because that would keep us from being able to pull up. So now, if you can see what that looks like, it just looks like you have a cute little, you know, snippet or decorated part at the top here, when really you can go ahead and pull that out. Now, if you wanted, you could add kind of a stopper to the inside so that it can't come out all the way. But I kind of liked the fact that it can come out all the way, because then you can do a bit more journaling a little easier. And you could probably even add a photo. You wouldn't want to get too dimensional, but I really like this second idea. Number 3 is going to be a pocket, and it's going to have a hidden side pocket. So again, using some scraps, I have a piece that's about 4 inches by 12 inches. My page width is 6 inches. So for this, you'll just want something that's double the width of your journal pages. And so since I have that already cut out, I'm just going to fold it in half. A lot of these are just folding in half, such simple little projects. So normally for a pocket inside my journal, I would go ahead and just place it down like this, and I would glue around the 3 edges. Now, we're still going to do that, but I want this to really look like a hidden pocket. I just want it to look like, let me start over. I want this to look like we have just a basic pocket, but we're gonna have a little hidden side pocket. So to create that, on the inside, I'm just going to glue on the top and the bottom. Now, if you want to take this a step further, by the way, you could go ahead and sew all the way around the 3 edges, but you would want to do that before we're gluing it closed, because we don't want to sew this edge, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna skip that part, but I am gonna add just a little bit of ribbon to the top here, just for a really simple decorating quality here. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of go like that. And then, so normally if I was wanting it to make this obvious, I would probably cut out like a half circle so that you would know there's a pocket here. But again, I want this to be sneaky. So we're gonna open up to a page here where we want to place this. So then we are going to go ahead and glue it down to our page. So for this, I'm just gonna glue around the 3 edges, and then we'll just have a top loading pocket like that. Okay. There we go. And then you can go ahead and, you know, add your items in the top like that. And then if we are dry enough, you'll see, then we can actually slip this in the side. So I like that one because I think it really appears like there's just a top loading pocket. But I wanted to show you also what it looks like if you do sew, because I think that sewing detail really makes it look like you just have a single pocket. I'm trying to see if you can see that on camera because it is kind of a shiny paper as well. But one more thing that we can do if we wanted to even give the illusion that this one is sewn and we don't have a sewing machine. I used to do this all the time, but I also think it's really going to kind of make it look like we just have that single pocket, because again, it's really just going to give that illusion that this is sewn all the way around, and you're not making it obvious that you have that little side pocket. So again, just such a simple way to add some fun and interactive element to your journals or journals that you are making for someone. There we go. How fun. Okay, so let's move on to the next. Now the next 2 are a little bit more involved, but again, they are easy. Number 4 is going to be an idea that I actually made a video on maybe 4 years ago, but we're gonna recreate that idea, and if I can find the original, I'll put it down below. It's gonna be a hidden envelope. So this is going to be our envelope. However, we're going to make it appear like it's maybe just part of the decoration that we have going on, if that makes sense. And so I am using a policy envelope. You can use any type of envelope that has a top flap, or you can easily make your own similar to this as long as it's has a top flap. Then we're gonna have, so I'm gonna be putting this on like a base page. So this is the same size as one of my journal pages. We got the policy envelope. You'll need another second piece of paper, and The height doesn't matter, but mine's probably about 2 inches. Let's see, I'll just give you measurements. Yeah, it's almost 2 inches. And then it's about 8.5 inches. Now you just want it to be long enough so that you can fold it around your policy envelope or whatever type of envelope you have. So basically, like I would say 2 times the width would be just great. And so we're gonna start out by, I wanna decorate the policy envelope just a little bit before we get started because I wanna make it look like it's more of a finished project, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna actually take my stencil here and do a little bit of stenciling. I've been pulling out my stencils lately and I thought this would be the perfect way to kind of make it look like this is just a little decoration on our page. It's not an envelope, don't you even. We're gonna have most of the top flap covered, but there we go. Just some quick stenciling that doesn't even look that good, but that's all right. And then I think I might even go ahead and take this stamp here and stamp on there. Sorry, I'm gonna grab my black so that it really shows up. If you're wondering where I got these stamps, they came in my box from Your Creative Studio. Okay, should be hopefully okay. There we go. All right, then we are going to fold our second piece of paper around the policy envelope. And you want it to be maybe a little loose because we are going to be sliding this up and down, if that makes sense. So I think I have it folded pretty good here. And then you're just gonna take some adhesive and just glue that around. So we have our little ring here. And just make sure that that fits well. And you are going to, you'll want it to be placed like right around the top, like I said, kind of covering most of the flap, maybe with a little bit showing because we are gonna have some, we are gonna be using some foam tape. And if you don't have foam tape, you could even layer up some cardstock, but we'll get to that in a minute. We're gonna decorate over the top of this strip. So we're gonna make kind of like a topper. I am just gonna start off with a doily here. And you do want this to be kind of big enough to cover the top here, if that makes sense, because you just want to make it look like this is complete and like there's no flap there. I'm just gonna add some glue. I would probably spend more time on decorating, but I just want to give you the basics here so that you can go ahead and start creating your own. I'm going to add a little bit of ribbon just to make it look like it's a little layered, like snippet kind of thing. Maybe I would add, that is kind of big, but I think I like that. I want to add some cheesecloth real quick behind here. Yeah, we'll just add a little bit right here. And then just pull it apart so it looks a little messier. Then I think I'm just gonna go ahead and glue on this big faux postage stamp there, like that. Okay. And again, I could keep going, but I think we'll just stop there as I'm picking up more things. This is my favorite part, so it's like kind of hard to stop here, but again, I don't want this video to be too long. I want you guys to be able to get the ideas and then be able to do it yourself. Okay, so now the next step is to use a little bit of foam tape because we want this to be able to slide really well. And so I'm just gonna take enough foam tape. This is not very thick, and it doesn't have to be. So like I was saying a minute ago, if you don't have foam tape, you could just layer up a little bit of cardstock, like maybe like 4 layers, and just do a strip at the bottom, and then we're gonna do a strip at the top. And I'm gonna actually cut this down to be half. This is some really heavy duty foam tape that I think we got from Amazon. My husband uses this a lot, or he does on just certain projects. Okay, then just remove the backing. And then we can place it wherever we want on our page. And I'm just gonna do kind of the middle because I just wanna make it look like maybe it's a finished page or something like that. There we go. Now let's hope it works. And then you can see, so you open it up, you're like, oh, this is a pretty page. I mean, you could have like a photo right here. I think that's something to make it look more finished. But then you'll be able to pull this down, and then you'll have access to your envelope, and you can put whatever it is you want in there. And so I just keep it up like that. And then we are done with this one. I really like how this one looks. I think it's fun and a little bit different. So let's move on to the last one, number 5. Now this is one that I've done quite a few times. I got the original idea from Kara Brandon, and it's like a hidden postcard kind of, I'll just show you. So I wanted to change it up and use something other than a postcard. I usually use a postcard, but I'm gonna use just a book page because I thought that maybe it could look even a little bit more hidden. Okay, so I'm gonna open one of my pages, or I'm just gonna use this to measure. I think I need to trim down. So you can do this with either a vertical or horizontal postcard, or like I'm going to do a book page. And so I just need to trim mine down a bit because it's going to be a little too big there. And I'll trim down here. There we go. So now what we need to do is cut a chunk off of our page, and I don't like to do it in half usually. I like to do maybe like 2/3, something like that, and we're just gonna cut it. So it's a little scary, I know, because you're cutting into something, but it's gonna be just fine. Then what we're gonna do is glue a second piece, and this is gonna be our hidden journaling. And you want this to be smaller than your original book page or postcard or whatever it is you used. You want this to be smaller. You want it to be thinner and shorter. So I'm just gonna trim that down a little bit more. I'm just kind of using that to measure. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so then you're just going to glue this to the top. And I'm gonna glue the back so that I can use this post, or so that you can see that it's like a guest check. There we go. Okay, so far we just have now this piece with the hidden journaling and then your top. And now to really disguise it, we're gonna use some coffee dyed paper. And for this piece, we wanna cut a piece of coffee dyed paper or whatever it is. It can just be scrapbook paper, the same size. And since I ripped this, I'm just gonna do my best to get it as close as I can, but you really wanna make sure you're not cutting into your original piece because we need that to fit together just right. So I'm just gonna kind of go around the edges as best I can. We can trim this when we're done for the final look. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this part's going to be the actual pocket. So let's make sure that we have it all lined up how we need it to be. Then I'm gonna flip it over. Now you can see where we will want to glue on our pocket because we only want to add glue to the very outer edges of the bottom piece. So the piece that I'm putting glue on is the one that does not have our guest check glued to it. So just like that. And then I'm gonna take my coffee dyed paper here, and since I cut it to be like almost exact, I just need to figure out and line it up. I made this a little bit more challenging just because of the fact that I have it torn, but it's okay. I think it was just like, there we go, I think. Now I can see how it fits together. And you're just gonna go ahead and place that exactly. We can move this piece because we don't need it to be in the pocket quite yet, but I think it makes more sense like once you finally see. Okay, there we go. And again, if you do need to now go ahead and trim any of the coffee dyed paper that's peeking through, you can do that. But we can also add some ink in a few minutes to really make that pop. Now I want to add a little bit more coffee dyed paper on the back of the second piece just to make it look a little bit nicer. So I'm gonna carefully, again, kind of cut around this second piece. And for this one, I'm just gonna quickly do it like that. I'm gonna glue. Sorry, you wanna make sure to glue it on the right side. So I'm covering up the first part of our guest check, and I'm actually just going to glue all over. You don't have to add backing to this one. I'm just doing that because I think it will look nice and match a little bit better. Okay, so then once again, I'm just gonna trim this a little bit better. Okay. I'm definitely making this take longer than it really needs to. This one's really quick once you know how to do it. There we go. So then, now that we can put it together, you'll see the whole picture here. And again, it's just gonna line up just right. And so if you do it just like that, and once everything kind of flattens out, and especially if it's in a journal, it's just going to look like a book page, like that. And depending on how you want to attach it in your journal, you could make this into a pocket, but you only want to glue down the side that doesn't have the hidden journaling, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to glue it down right now because I'm not exactly sure where I want to put it in the journal, but let me just show you. Then you can pull that out and you have your journaling right there. And then when you put it back in, it will make your piece look like just one piece. And of course, you can kind of tell that there's a bit of a rip, but depending on what you use, not a rip, sorry, you can see that it's cut right there. But really depending on what you use, like when I was using postcards, they lay very flat, and it's really hard to tell. So it just, you know, experiment and see what types of paper or things that you like to use, because it really can kind of make a difference. But that is everything. That was number 5. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and got some fun ideas for your journals. And please remember to leave me a comment down below and let me know how you liked it. But I will see you guys in the next video. I gotta go. Bye guys.